In last week's class, you may remember we began by discussing ancient Judaism and made the first point that in ancient times there was a multiplicity of sects or denominations within the Jewish faith. The problem that many historians have always had is they defined ancient Judaism by that type of Judaism which had survived the fall of the Roman Empire, which is traditionally known as Pharisaic or Rabbinic Judaism. When we looked at ancient Judaism, the Judaism of the Roman Empire, we noted that there was at least one faction or one sect or one denomination of Judaism that was known for its proselytizing, for its attempts at winning converts. It was a Hellenized Judaism, meaning they had borrowed from the Greeks many of the symbols and motifs artistically and theologically, and we defined it as a salvationist or mystic Judaism. And we looked at the artwork from a number of synagogues of the later Roman Empire that probably belonged to this mystic or salvationist type of Judaism. It was this type of Judaism, salvationist Judaism, that was locked in a fierce conflict with Christianity for converts during the time of the Roman Empire. This conflict between Christianity and salvationist Judaism continued well into the 5th and 6th centuries, even after the time when Constantine began patronizing Christianity in the early 4th century, even after the time when the capital was moved from Rome to Byzantium, Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. Even then, under the patronage of the Christian Roman emperors, salvationist Judaism was still locked in this contest for the hearts and souls of mankind with Christianity. Now, as we discussed the many sects of Judaism, we of course have to realize that within Christianity there are also many sects and divisions. One of the most prominent was basically the grand cultural division that there was within the Roman Empire itself. And that is that although the empire was one political unit, there was a very sharp cultural divide separating the Latin-speaking West from the Greek-speaking East. And it is not coincidental that this is also the divide between Greek Orthodoxy and Roman Catholicism. Now, as the Christian faith began to move away from its respective parts due to this cultural divide, there were other internal divisions within Christianity. Numerous what eventually became called heresies grew up within Christianity. Arian Christianity, Nestorian Christianity, Monophysite Christianity. And most of these so-called heresies or other Christian sects and denominations grew up initially in the eastern part of the Mediterranean, in the Greek-speaking eastern part of the Roman Empire. The way that the Orthodox Church dealt with such Christian sectarianism was simply they sent in imperial troops and demanded at the point of a sword that these heretic Christians conform, that is, come back to Orthodox doctrine, or simply leave the empire. So what happens is that as the empire is dividing, the eastern part of the empire especially is racked with religious persecution, and the locals in Anatolia, Syria, Palestine, and Egypt are becoming increasingly alienated from the Orthodox emperor in Constantinople. Now, it is at this point, as the empire is drifting into two separate halves, as the eastern part is being wrecked by religious persecutions, that the Persian Empire, Rome's age-old enemy, decides that the eastern part of the empire, which we call the East Roman Empire or the Byzantine Empire, the Persians decide that they are so weak that it's a good time to invade the empire.